lovely people, welcome back to the farm at Freewarden. Today I'm going to take you on a little tour of the farm and some updates, some things that we've gotten done around here, some things that we're about to work on and are planning to work on later. But it's been a hot minute since we've had an update, so I figured we got to just jump on here. We've been really busy. I've been hoofing it like crazy, working my butt off trying to get stuff done around here, trying to get ready for this season. And so I do apologize, we haven't had a lot of time to do video, and it's just time. We got to make it happen like that, like now. So first of all, we've got the mobile chicken mansion right here. Now you may notice in the background here, they might be hiding, but you may notice that we've got some new birds in here. We've got some Muscovy ducks that I picked up. We've got a drake and 7 hens. So let's go see if we can find them here. But they actually stayed in the mobile chicken mansion last night. It was so cool. We had them in here in a chicken tractor for 10 days just to make sure that they weren't going to fly away, because you know Muscovies, they do fly. They are a perching waterfowl. If you didn't know that, perching waterfowl, they'll fly up into trees and they can fly away. And we do have a pond across the road, so I really didn't want them to just up and leave us for good, especially after I spent as much money as I did on them. Let's take a look at these cool perching waterfowl here, who are not perching but are actually on the ground. They're right over here. Now, they don't like it when I get too close, so I'm gonna have to kind of stay back here. And our silver appleyard drake is telling me off. He's like, you stay back, you stay away. This is my female. I've only got one left. Leave her alone. All right, but here's the Muscovies. Now you can tell the difference between the drake and the females right away. Look at how big that drake is. He's more than twice the size of these females. So they've already been laying eggs, and I expect they'll get broody and probably hatch out a brood of Muscovy ducklings here soon, hopefully. Now how it usually works is they'll all lay eggs, but only one or maybe a handful of them will get broody and hatch out the eggs. I've still got brown females and I've got the black drake there, so I'm pretty excited to see what we get. We do have some Muscovy eggs in the incubator that we've collected, which they haven't hatched yet, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that. We'll see. They say that Muscovies actually, when they get broody, they hatch out their own eggs better than you can hatch them in an incubator. Now eventually we're going to let them free range, and they'll probably travel all over our property. And then during the evening, I expect they'll probably come back and take up residency for the night in our mobile chicken mansion. Right behind me in our barn, we've got a new coop built into the stalls. We cleaned everything out in there, and I got chicken wire stapled in. Of course, we've got our quail coop back here, but then right here, we've got our chicken coop. Another door right over here to enter into our chicken coop, so let's go check this out quick. I still need to build some roosts, and I need to build some nesting boxes in here as well. So roosts and nesting boxes, and then this place will be complete and set up for our chickens. Now, all right, so over here in the quail coop, I've actually got a brooder set up for our day-old chicks, and they stay in there for about 3 weeks, and then we move them in here. So I'll show you our 3+ week-old chicks. They're right down in here, and you can see we've got boards set up around them. These are just leaning up against these pillars, and the reason for the boards here is because that makes it so that our other chickens in here, they can't see them, right? So out of sight, out of mind. That's the idea, because these chickens, especially the white leghorns, really love to bully our new little chicks, our 3+ week old chicks. And they're just, I mean, they're horrible to them. they'll chase them around, they won't let them eat, they won't let them drink, and they will actually starve our little 3+ week old chicks to death. So I actually had 2 die before I realized this was happening, because I've been so busy I haven't had time to really keep eyes on the animals. And then I end up with 2 chicks I find dead for no apparent reason. They were doing great, and then they're dead. And that happened right after we put them in here. So I did 2 things. I noticed that the white leghorns were using their wings a lot, so I clipped their wings so they can't fly, they can't really use them to jet around like they were. And we put the boards up, and I noticed that when I put the boards up to kind of create a temporary brooder for these guys, they started eating a lot more. They started to look a lot happier, and a lot more comfortable, just a lot more themselves, the way chicks normally act. And that's really helped out a lot. So that was a problem, found a solution to it. We clipped the white leghorn's wings so they couldn't jet around. Now I clipped both of them, both sides, so now they can't fly, but that's fine, they're in here. We don't need our chickens to fly. They can still run just fine. They got great balance. It didn't affect them other than they can't really like take off like that and chase these chicks down, and they're not jumping up on the boards a whole lot. And without seeing the chicks in there, they don't really feel like they've got a reason to go over there, because their feed is here, their feed is here, their water is here and here. So that's about it for our chickens. They're doing good. We've already delivered some. We've had some people come and pick up the ones that we were raising out for them. That has been really helpful. That's helped pay for the initial cost of the chicks, and of course the most expensive part of raising any animal, the feed. When we were in the farm store, I happened to notice they had 7 turkeys. So we bought all 7 of them. One of them didn't make it. One of them ended up dying. Unfortunately, that's the case with turkeys. Sometimes you look at them wrong and they fall over dead. This one, I'm not sure what happened. It stopped eating, it stopped drinking, and next thing you know, it was laying there dead. I did try to get it to drink some water, and it acted like it was choking for like 2 minutes. It just sat there acting like it couldn't breathe. So that wasn't going so well. I kept trying to give it a little bit of water, a little bit more, and it kept just kind of freaking out. Now, I didn't drown it. It didn't die because I was giving it water. It was fine even till that evening. I checked. I came back and checked on it that evening, and it looked like maybe it'll pull through, but it was just sitting there really like it was very tired and exhausted. So I checked it the next morning. It ended up being dead. But if thou shalt have livestock, thou shalt have dead stock. It's kind of the name of the game. Unfortunately, things die, and I don't know what else we could have done about it. But these little guys, they are very cute. They are, they're almost 2 weeks old themselves, I think. They're getting bigger. They started out smaller than our day-old chicks over here. Well, they weren't day-old chicks when we got the turkeys, but we got chicks over here that were larger than our turkeys when we got our turkeys. Now the turkeys are larger than the chicks, so they've outpaced the chicks in growth. Hey there, cute little turkey. Isn't he cute? He or she? I'm not sure what it is. So here's a little turkey for you. Very cute. Now he's settled down just a bit, just kind of doing the peep, 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 peep. Beep, beep, beep. There you go. Go back to your brothers and sisters. Hopefully we've got a male or 2 in there and females so that we can maybe get some breeding stock out of them. These are artisan gold turkeys. They are one of the best turkeys to have on your homestead or your farm if you want a turkey that can forage and free range. They're going to be the ones to do it. They're slower growing. I mean, you can feed them out really fast on grain, or you can let them free range, and then they're going to be a little slower growing, but they're going to grow at less expense to you. So that's how I plan on letting these guys go. So then by November, we should have a turkey large enough to butcher for Thanksgiving. Of course, we do the quail. I've got almost, let's see, how many? I've got over 200 eggs currently in the incubator for the quail, so that's pretty exciting. I got some new blood. So these guys, they all came from a farm in southern Iowa. I got some from a farm in Ohio called MyShire Farm. Pretty cool channel if you want to check that out. Hey, did you just peck me? My finger is not food. Are you guys hungry or something? So MyShire Farm is one of the best farms that I've seen. They have a great channel. There's a lot of great channels for quail, but they've got one of the best channels for quail. And how do you say, they collaborate with a lot of other channels when it comes to quail, so I think that's really impressive. They're working with a lot of other people to bring talent and information and knowledge to you, and they do it as a business, and they are one of the best. So I figured, who better to get some good, healthy new blood, some different blood for our quail, because you know, when you're getting quail from just one farm, a lot of them are going to be related. So I wanted to get quail from one farm here in Iowa and quail from another farm somewhere else in the country, so I had a better chance of getting very disparate bloodlines. Of course, we've got our day-old chicks here. They are doing really good. They're not day-old chicks anymore. They're I don't know, 2-3 week old chicks now. They must be, yeah, I think they're getting close to 3 weeks, so it's going to be time for them soon to go next door to the temporary brooder, where they'll stay, they'll eat, they'll grow out for a few weeks before we let them into the general population with the rest of our chickens. This is our new timeless fence system, 6-wire, and it is off right now because we don't have sheep in here, but I am going to test it quick. This is a really handy little trick for testing fence. If you ever need to test to see if the fence is on and you don't have your fence tester, you can just take a piece of grass, lay it over the fence like so, and if you don't feel a tingle, then it's not on. And it's not on. All right, so our timeless fence here, awesome, awesome stuff. These T-posts are made of extruded PVC, all recycled materials. I'm really excited about this stuff. I'm really excited to see how it holds up. I mean, it's got a 20-year warranty. These fence posts are going to last for years and years to come. So as we walk the fence line, let me just tell you a little bit about timeless fence and why I chose it. First of all, it'll never decay, it'll never rust, it'll never, you know, instead of breaking, it bends. Look at how flexible this is. I mean, I'm just taking this thing and rocking the entire fence with it. You see it going almost like 3-4 posts up. And then I let go and it's still standing there, right? People, now I actually had a customer come and buy some of this from us. So by the way, we do sell this as well. So full disclosure, I'm selling this stuff. I've got skin in the game, so take my word with a grain of salt. However, I believe in it enough to put it on our own property and show it and actually use it. You know, we're gonna put our sheep down here, and I trust it, and I trust this, I trust my Energizer to keep this high tensile wire going enough that we're gonna use it ourselves. Even if this stuff would break, even if this, these posts would break, we're covered, all right? So it's going to be replaced. Now, you might think, well, that's all well and good, except all the work to pull these things out, put them back in. I've got to splice my wire, I got to fix my fence. Well, here's the thing, they don't break. Not very often, way less often than you would think. And that's the good part about it. So yes, there's a 20-year warranty in case they do break, but these things, they're gonna last for 50 years or more, right? So once you get these things installed, they're good to go. I did have a customer who came and bought some of this from us, and he said, I am a big believer in timeless fence. You don't even have to try to sell me. I know this stuff is the way to go because I had a tree branch fall on it and it bent the post over. I think he had an actual tree, just entire tree, fall on his fence, and rather than tink, 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 right through the wire here, snapping all his wires, the post bent over. He took the tree down, or he took the tree off it, cut it up, got it off there, bent the post back up, and he was good to go. Rock and roll. Couple of things about these H braces. These H braces are really nice. I think the H braces for Timeless are underrated. I've installed wood H braces and I've installed the Timeless. Guess which is easier to install? Timeless H braces. Timeless Super H braces. The Timeless A-frame braces. Way easier to install. So if you're looking at something to install for yourself, I'd strongly encourage you check out the Timeless H braces. They're going to be way easier to install. I thought they were harder at first, and I had forgotten how difficult wood H braces are to install. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. After installing all of these, I went and installed 4 wood H braces, and I was like, oh my goodness, can I go back to Timeless now? So these are actually a lot easier to install. Do they cost a little more? Yeah, they cost a little more. Do you have to put them in with cement? Yeah, you gotta mix up some cement to install them. But once that stuff sets, you're never gonna get these things out. I mean, unless you want to, and then you're digging them out. But, I mean, look at these things. This has all of the pressure of a 6-line wire, high tensile wire, stretched out. And look at the good shape that this post is in, these posts. These are H posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 H posts to make this corner brace, and just look at how good that looks. That doesn't look like it's leaning or sagging or bending or stretching or anything. Now, the way that you hook these up, the way that you run your one line to your adjoining line is I just took some split bolts and I put the wires in the slot, tighten the nut down, and away we went. Now you can also use crimp sleeves, you can use gripples, you can do the pigtail tie, off, and that works perfectly fine too. You want to use some pliers to really crank down on that pigtail tie off, though, to make sure that you've got a good solid connection and that you're not losing voltage from one line to the next where it makes a connection. Now, I've done a couple of different things on this fence, and I'll probably do a more full tour later. But we wanted to try a whole bunch of different things. Being the high tensile has so many different options, I wanted to just know what all the different options were, especially since we're offering installation of this fence as well, the fence system. So you can buy the post from us. If you're anywhere in north central Iowa, Timeless, we got it. We'd be more than happy to sell it to you if you want it. And if you wanted us to, we'd be more than happy to install it. We're out here with our meat chickens, so a little update on the meat chickens. We now have 21 in this tractor, 20 in the next tractor, and then 21 in the third tractor up there. So we split them all up because we had 31 and 31 in 2 different tractors. And now we've got them all split up, so there's 20, 21, and 21, which gives them a lot more space. They have a lot more access to the feed. They're not sitting there climbing on top of each other, fighting over feed and water, but they're all doing really good in there. They're loving life in the grass. Look at them resting. Somebody left a comment on one of our shorts where I showed this, and I showed these tractors, I showed our chickens. Somebody watching that short said they called my chicken tractors that I spent probably $400 on each of these things that house only 25 of these birds, or only supposed to house 25 of these birds. They said something that really hurt my feelings, and I want to talk about it because, you know, that's what men like to do. They like to talk about their feelings. So it really hurt my feelings. They said that these are a silly, stupid tent hut. And you know what? I think that their idea is a silly, stupid tent hut idea in disguise. Because they were talking about how you need like caging everywhere, you need hardware cloth, you need wood everywhere. You need it over insulated. I imagined, like when they said over insulated, I imagined like insulation and then more insulation until you've got like one chicken just being squeezed to death in there under the insulation. But anyway, so that's cool. If you love chickens that much, you go ahead and you spend $1,000, you spend $10,000. I don't care how much money you spend on a chicken coop, but you spend that much money. You look at our barn, you see how much we spent on our chickens. So folks, these are meat chickens. They're not egg layers. They're not your cute little, pretty kind of calm and friendly, tame chicken pets. All right, we're gonna eat these chickens. I just want that to sink in for a second. We're going to delete these chickens and not just like unalive them, but actually delete them by consuming them. All right, so I want you to understand something. Like, these chickens are meant to die and feed us. I'm not gonna spend $10,000 on a hut for 75 of these birds. Well, we've got 62 now, but that's beside the point. These are Cornish cross, okay? They're meant to be a fast growing, they eat a lot, they grow really quickly, so they're about 8 weeks old now, and they are big enough to butcher. I'm gonna let them go for another week or two. But, like, folks, these chickens aren't even meant to live that long. If they live to 12 months, that would be a miracle. I mean, if they live to 3 months, it would probably be a miracle. They can't live that long. They have one purpose in life, and that is to eat a lot of feed, to grow really big and fat, to put on a lot of muscle, to die, and then to go in our freezer until we're ready to cook them up for Sunday lunch. These guys, they need a tarp over them to keep the rain off, otherwise they'll drown because they're that dumb. They need some caging. They need this chicken wire, and down here I've got hardware cloth that keeps the predators out, just as long as I remember to take the wheels off down here, which I use to move them. Then they're safe. They need some water, so I've got a 5-gallon bucket here that goes to a PVC shaft here, or tube, with chicken water nipples there. And then they need feed, which we give them every single day, sometimes twice a day. And they're living their best life out here in the pasture. They're eating this grass, they're eating the bugs, they're eating the feed, they're getting sun. It's way better life than most chickens ever get. These Siskovich chicken tractors, which by the way you should check out, there's gonna be a link in the description. Check out Siskovich chicken tractors. These chicken tractors are the way to go, for real. Like, they cost $300–400 to make. They're gonna last for 10+ years. And they'll house 25 chickens each, keep them nice and safe. You raise them out, you can raise out, 2, 3, 4 batches of chickens in a year. And you've got your freezer and your family's freezers and your friends' freezers stocked for the rest of the year for all the chicken you're gonna need. Raised on pasture, on the best feed that you can find, eating the bugs, soaking up the sun, getting that vitamin D. I mean, these things are just packed with vitamin D. You're not even gonna need to take vitamin D supplements if you're that kind of person in the winter. They're just gonna have vitamin D oozing out of that skin as you cook it and you roast it to a nice golden brown. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna show you one more thing here before I let y'all go. These are our gates up here, and when you put steel utility gates, livestock gates, on your timeless H-braces, what you got to do is you got to add a post here. All right, so you add an H post here, put a little square tubing post right there. Okay, that's for drilling into, giving it some support and stability, and something that you can bolt onto and tighten these nuts down onto the, whoops, yeah, there we go. Something you can bolt onto and tighten these nuts down onto the bolt real good on both sides here. So we've got another one over there. And when you attach these, then what you want to do is, it's highly recommended that you put a wheel on these. So that wheel right there, just clamped on to our to 1 7/8 steel tubing right here, and that helps take a little bit of weight off the H-brace and just keep it from, you know, really moving around while the end of it's flopping out there. So yeah, with a wood brace you don't have to do this, but it still looks way nicer. I think this just looks a lot classier when you've got the same style H-brace as you do your posts. I would not recommend doing wood H-braces anywhere else with the timeless other than maybe your gate. Okay, so if you don't want to have to do all the extra stuff for the gate setup, then maybe consider, you know, you don't want to put the wheel on and stuff, then maybe consider wood H-braces for the front of your property at your gate or at any gates. You do have another option with timeless when it comes to gates, which is they do have their PVC gates. Not sure what I think about those. I'm not recommending those. I'm not suggesting you do those. I'm just saying it's another option. Look into it. You may like it. All right, folks, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little update. I want you to all take care, stay safe, hug somebody, God bless. Everything's gonna be okay. Peace.